We are back with one question we were able to ask. We have full interviews coming all next week. There's an interview on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 8th, 9th. And then I think we go out to the 30th. We have about 20 more full-length interviews coming, so don't be disappointed. But today we were also able to talk to this professor, Nate Persily. He's a professor of law at Stanford University. And let's get right to it. Nathaniel Persily is the James B. McClatchy Professor of Law. He's a senior fellow, Freeman Spogli Institute for International Studies at Stanford University. One question with Nate Persily, Professor of Law, Stanford University. Nathaniel Persily is the James B. McClatchy Professor of Law at Stanford University School with appointments in the Departments of Political Science, Communication, and FSI. Prior to joining Stanford, Professor Persily taught at Columbia and the University of Pennsylvania Law School, and as a visiting professor at Harvard, NYU, Princeton, the University of Amsterdam, and the University of Melbourne. Professor Persily's scholarship and legal practice focus on American election law, or what is sometimes called the law of democracy, which addresses issues such as voting rights, political parties, campaign financing, redistricting, and election administration. He served as special master or court-appointed expert to craft congressional or legislative district plans for Georgia, Maryland, Connecticut, New York, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. He's also served as a senior research director for the Presidential Commission on Election Administration. Very well versed in the law and how elections run, and has worked at many law schools. Exceptionally brilliant man. He wrote this article, Faculty on Point, Professor Nathaniel Persily on Election Law, One Person, One Vote. And that was a study he had done on election law. He also works at the Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Sciences. He's been a faculty fellow at Stanford University from at least 2019 to 2022. This was what we wanted to talk to him about. This is the book, Solutions to Political Polarization in America. It was published in 2015. So before Trump was elected, political polarization in America was so bad that Nathaniel Persily put together a very large book talking about solutions to political polarization. Things were so bad in 2015, they wanted to have a book on how to end political polarization. He edited the book. We've also tried to reach out to all the writers of the book. We'll tell you if we get any success for this. But he was the main editor. He was the guy looking at all the articles that people were turning in on how are we going to solve political polarization. And he approved them, edited them, put them in the book. So he's the master at looking at what ideas were out there that Stanford law students and other top thinkers had on how to solve political polarization back in 2015. 8 years ago, almost a decade ago. I just saw your book, Solutions to Political Polarization in America, request for interview. I just wanted to ask you one question. Do you think that political polarization has increased since you published your book 8 years ago? Yes. I know it's not a whole thing, but I just showed you how this guy is an expert in law and teaching at multiple universities. And then he wrote this, which was, at the time that this was published, this is one of the definitive books on political polarization. It was one of the most well-researched, thick books on political polarization, well-known. But it came out in 2015. We've had, if you look, I talked to him in 2023. It's been 8 years since then. Things were so bad in 2015, political polarization, that Stanford University said, we need to have a book on how to fix political polarization in America. This is towards the end of the second Obama presidency. Wow, polarization is so bad, we need to fix it. That was before Trump. Has it gotten worse or better in the last 8 years? It has definitely, polarization has increased. Yes, political polarization has increased in the 8 years since this book was written. That's what this person is saying. Political polarization has increased in the 8 years since they wrote this book in 2015. That was talking about how political polarization is so bad that we need to heal it as America. That's why they wrote this book. It's even worse now, 8 years later. That's what he said. I know that's not a full interview, but it is a data point from somebody who wrote a study and is well versed on the law and has taught at many universities. we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.